ZETA division, and even though they managed to qualify through from their region, it is somewhat of a David and Goliath matchup when you're looking at performances back at DreamHack Dallas, right? So you expect Falcons, and sure, the people at home, as they've indicated as well with that vote, look like it's going to be a Falcons win, but never count out anyone here at the Esports World Cup featuring Fortnite. Now it looks like we're ready to get into our first game of the day here between Falcons and ZETA division, and we've got a little bit of Chalet CTF to kick things off.
Yeah, the pros, of course, have called this old map CTF. This is the one they've been playing for months and months. This is, of course, the map that you would have seen at the DreamHack qualifiers, as well as the Face It online qualifiers as well. If you've been paying attention to anything here in the EWC Fortnite modes, you've been watching a lot of this, whether you're watching the VODs online, whether you're catching up on the latest scrims. This is what we've been seeing for quite some time. They're going to see some new map mode combinations coming in as well, but this is really the bread and butter of EWC featuring Fortnite, and we are officially underway here with our group stage.
Here we go then, everybody. This is the moment we've been waiting for. The players have been expecting to get out to a hot start here, and for Falcons fans, I'm sure they're expecting exactly the same thing. And an interesting opening strategy here. Usually a lot of it is based around utility and baiting that out for either team.
Ooh, look at ZETA playing this slow. Yeah, just a little bit of 3P baiting here in tunnel from Yuma. We'll see if that pays off for them. Right now, look at the central presence here coming in from Falcons. Really going in with an opening, just trying to fly right at their opponent's window.
A couple of kills being picked up as well, so they clean out the balcony, and they should have access towards house, but mid-map battle is still continuing here. Piro managed to get one, and Titan already has that flag moving, and this is a hot, quick start coming out of Falcons.
Really nice from Falcons. They get the 2 dead, they get their limbs that they need, and that flag's going to continue moving here. We'll see if he's able to bring it all the way back. We'll make sure that we keep an eye on that, as that flag now starting to wrap around the back.
Bubble down, flag is in, and within moments, it feels like opening break, flag moving. We have Falcons on the board, and it looks like Falcons are certainly here to play. Now, can they defend the counter cap? That's something we've got to keep our eyes on, right? Even though you get that flag on the board, you've got to make sure that flag doesn't get pulled away as you extend and try and secure it back at your base. And it looks like they're doing a pretty good job at the moment. Yapko in mid-map at the moment, looking around the white truck, and it looks like they got the kills just to slow down any counter cap attempt.
And I got to say, if you've been keeping up with the action, whether it's on Jacob's channel, the Aussie Antics coverage, if you watch the DreamHack qualifiers, that was a very non-traditional start there, right? That was very, very slow. Falcons just tear apart the slow start from ZETA. They go flood central, they get right into the flagpole, they pull that right away, and as you said, they brought that flag in with 53 seconds of play, already leading 1-0, 3:30 left in the round.
But now Falcons seem to just be fine for a little bit of mid-map control. You can see the Yapko's going to find one. Tayson doubling up with him as well, and that's some beautiful baiting and switching. Piro here's got to be careful and make sure he doesn't extend to give away his life. Doesn't manage to do so, which is a good bit of news for him. However, over challenges as the bubble goes down, that will be his life falling. But this has just been a scrap for mid-map, and you've got to say Falcons have control for a number of reasons here. Not just the flag on the board, but traditionally, you would say it's the weaker side to attack on.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, finally, a little bit of pressure here coming out from Coyote, is able to work with the squad to get out of their base for the first time in a while, but not a lot of time before this round wraps. And he's going to slowly start to make the tunnel push again, but Teeny wants to check that angle.
Trying to line up a couple of shots here, but Teeny is giving as good as he gets. Yapko playing very, very slow at the moment, and he's actually going for a cheeky little pull, and this is going to make everybody turn around. And even though 2 Falcons players have fallen inside of their base, this distraction from Yapko might create an opportunity and force them to turn around and make some plays. There's the body. Didn't quite manage to follow up on the kill himself, but now you can see that the wrap is coming in here from Yuma. They will get that return home, and this could be an opportunity for a cap to come in now from ZETA division.
Yeah, let's see what they can do. Chicho's going to fly in, get that right away. ZETA actually wrapping this. They get through the choke. It's a key angle. They should be able to bring this one home. Mini Pollo on the escort as well. They will cap in the end. What looked like it was going to be a Falcons wrap again in the end is still 1-1. We heard that ZETA division had been working on each of these modes tirelessly since the qualifier, and just like that, they now find themselves here tied 1-1. 1:53 left on the clock.
What will Yapko then? He's going to get the first one onto Mini Piro. Now he's going to jump up to the balcony and try and push through the front of house. However, you can see mid-map being held down right now by Coyote. Great shots, good damage onto a second as well, but in the meantime, you can see that Tyson has that flag moving. So next set of kills is going to be vital as to what happens to that flag, and you could see Titan already got that flag through Paul and back towards house. This could be a cap here for Falcons.
This is the angle. Can he get through this choke? He gets through the choke somehow, even though ZETA had the pressure. They got the limbs they needed, and they start to push mid-map. However, off-screen, undoubtedly, as you saw in the mini-map, really good holding of the angle. Taysom will bring in what is the second flag. They lead 2-1, 1:13 left in the round now.
That's one of those little heartbreakers, right? You work so hard to get a flag on the board, you manage to tie the game up, and then almost with the next play, you find yourself in the same position you battle so hard to get out of. So Coyote now trying to buy a little bit of time for the rest of his team to push up and help him. Unfortunately, the teammates who were closest, they got taken down, and Falcons clean out their base. And now it's a move towards mid-map for them, and Tyson already pretty much 2/3 of the way up the map here, putting pressure onto the ZETA division spawners.
Here comes the K push. This is the angle you expect them right now, getting all the elims they needed. You saw 3 in the feed. Actually, Tayson's going to wrap around back flag here to see if he can flank in. They're going to find the scoreboard spawners. Zagu, though, with a very nice job. You expect Chicho to finish that, but no, instead, it's really good defense coming in from Zagu.
Making sure he plays his life as well, and by doing so, buys enough time for teammates to get into position to help clean up the damage that he had started. So a really good job there from Zagu to make sure that he was not giving away his life, not giving away a cheeky opportunity for that flag to start scarpering away from his base, and now keeps that run going. And on the marksman here, doing some big damage.
Yeah, Zagu doing very well here. With 12 seconds left, though, as we know, no sudden death rule, so these will just be really elims for the scoreboard as that flag is not being ran back, and you'll know that this one will just time out. A little bit of extra kills being exchanged as we'll now have a round swap. Falcons leading 2-1, and I think based off of the poll results, Mark, when we were polling the audience, not a lot of people would have expected this narrow of a margin heading into our second round, but let's not forget, with the base swap and with Falcons scoring twice from their side, you might expect them to take this round pretty easily.
Yeah, you would say they've just managed to, as you say, get into an advantageous position with the score, with a 2-1, playing from traditionally what is seen as the weaker side here on Chalet. So now that they're playing from red side, this is an opportunity for them to, well, I was going to say an opportunity for them to maybe feel a little bit more comfortable, but I want to focus on this opening strategy and what happens here, because let's take ourselves back to that first round, right? It was an instantaneous cap coming in from Falcons from their opening strategy.
Chicho takes a lot of nade damage in Central, however, is able to stay alive for a little bit now, and no one falling just yet off the opening. Kills exchange. Finally, Coyote falls to the hands of Teeny, and that'll be the first advantage as they try to make the push happen.
They're trying to control pull. It's going to be a lot of focus for the teams to try and play around as almost as the pivot of the map. Teeny now trying to challenge and certainly buy some time. Creep in and in towards the window. Zagu's going to jump out and take a little bit of damage. He's going to stay alive here on the white truck, but he's trying for the ankle shots. He's trying to pick away at those toenails, but instead, it's going to be a rearranging of the hair follicles. Good shots coming in from Teeny.
Yeah, really nice job from Teeny. And comms are coming in as well to force the player just above the pickup truck, and now they're going to start to make their mid-map move as well. Chicho's going to exchange kills. Coyote picking up one as well.
He's doing such a good job at the moment of just controlling that pull area. And as we jump on board with him, now he can start to just put a little bit more pressure on, stepping up, but not too far away from his team to be able to back down and wait for that support to arrive. Chicho now looking to clean up the kill outside on the balcony, and you can see the Falcons just taking their time on this one, and I like this, right? You've got to get the numbers, you've got to get those limbs before you get that flag moving.
ZETA finally, nice job turtling, just holding and going front base. We know those are not easy kills to get when you have to wrap on your front base. They should be able to clean up this one on Tayson as well. Oh, Tayson says no, though, and somehow picks up 2 from a defensive position, and that will now start to run what looked like a great defensive maneuver coming in from ZETA. Is shut down right away. Coyote needs to make the push. Yapko on the run.
Damage on that cross, though. You saw a little bit of damage. Yapko's trying to get around that corner, and even though the shields are going to be chipped away at, the shields are still intact. Yapko will be able to run this one home. Nobody in position, as Falcons will hold mid-map, and that is another flag now going in for Team Falcons. 3-1 with just over 3 minutes left in this round. Yapko with the dynamite in towards the tunnel as well, trying to help out his teammate Teeny, but Mini Piro, he's putting some good shots down, and that's going to be a double for him.
How about that play from Tayson? Just in a situation where he has no business getting the first kill, gets both kills on that tunnel side push, wins a battle that is not easy to do, and they're able to get the pull right away. ZETA Division was 4-stacked on the flag. Team Falcons absolutely take advantage of that. They collapse perfectly and follow it up with a perfect flag run. Just 2:41 left.
Icho trying to use that bubble. The MP is going to take that out of commission for now, but look at Yapko cleaning out his base, and that's something I've got to commend from what I've seen from Falcons at the moment is their kind of knowledge of where players are and how many are alive, right? So many times we see them step into a position and only kind of creep up once they know they've got some eliminations to go alongside it. Falcons making sure that their map presence is dominant in around the mid-map, but this is the first time for quite some time we've actually seen some pressure coming in from ZETA. Now you're going to see a little bit of a challenge onto Tierney. Mini Piro wants to finish off this kill, but Tierney, being a difficult kill, finally gets taken down, but has he bought enough time now for Falcons to respawn? As we see Chicho doing exactly that in front of him.
Yeah, I think he has. Bubble will go down as well. Worth mentioning here, we haven't seen Oh, he gets absolutely picked here by Zagu. Zagu's going to continue holding forward as well. And as you said, stayed alive long enough, bought a little bit of time for Falcons, but been pretty impressed here. Right now, the limbs have really been going the way of the side of ZETA over these past few. They've got about 6 of the last 10 kills. We'll see if they can continue this streak.
Another couple getting picked up as well, and now you've seen Yapko, a couple of players causing him problems. The bubble is down as well, which is going to allow the flag carrier to escape. But Tayson's escaping the gunfire at the moment, and he's just sent that flag home. You saw there was an opportunity there, but as we always say in any game mode, this is an FPS, you gotta hit your shots.
That's a hero play from Tayson. The flag is still being ran once again, though. It's a second pull. We'll see if Yapko can win this from the back of the base. If he is, Tayson and Yapko are going to fly tunnel side.
Yapko's going to be chasing down Minipiro here. I think he has that flag still in his hands, and he does indeed, but it's going to be sent back home. And a couple of nervy moments there, Andy.
Yeah, really nervy moments. Teeny with a really big win mid-map to make sure he gets to the end of the cutoff as well. Tayson does so well once again, just pick up a kill. That's not the first time. We've seen this in DreamHack qualifiers and in scrims as well. Tayson manages to spawn in his chalet, and he'll get into tunnel, and he'll cut that flag off and do the damage. And by the time, unsurprising to see not only our MVP at DreamHack Dallas, but of course one of the most legendary players to ever play the game. You could even say the greatest of all time to have flag cutoffs like that. 47 seconds left. Team Falcons up 3-1.
3-1 and looking like they just want to slow things down a little bit here. Offense is usually something you put as a secondary option when you're up by 3 flags, to 1 with a 2-flag advantage. Just got to prioritize making sure that your base is clear and that nobody's going to be progressing up the map. But Falcons actually pressurizing the respawners here, and I think they know the job is done as long as they can maybe put this 4th flag in. Tayson is away with it. It's a clean run home, and from the kills that we were seeing being picked up, those are limbs. They're happening the other side of the map altogether, so that's a clear run.
That is a clear run. Tayson says, why not? Let's throw another flag on the board here for even more statistical advantage in the end. This will be a victory lap here. 5 seconds to go in game number 1.
5 seconds to go, just ticking down now. It's a formality at this point, and I tell you what, the people at home, they know what they're voting for, as Falcons will win here. CTF on Chalet, 4-1.
You just tell it's business as usual for this side, right? Not even an exchange of fist pounds or really any emotion from their side. They know they're here for a reason. They're coming in with the #1 seed, and they've got business to attend to. This is just the group stage. That first game is going to be easily taken. Let's not forget, though, they were tied 1-1 as we take a look at some highlights in just a moment. 1-1 early on, however, 4-1 in the end, just showing that they were able to play really the full distance of both of those rounds very comfortably taken in the end.
It's interesting, isn't it, when you're looking at moments within games, regardless of what game it is, of what stage of a series, there's always a couple that jump out to you. And if you're ZETA Division, you're coming into this first match, you know, you're focused, you know that you're probably the underdog coming into the match, and you want to be able to at least keep it at a stalemate for quite some time to build some confidence into the game. But the way that Falcons came out of the gates, capping in under 60 seconds, that just kind of breaks you a little bit in between the ears to make you feel like maybe this is going to be a lot tougher than you'd prepared for.
It really does, especially as we look at some of the highlights from that game number 1. You know, when we're looking at DreamHack results, when we're looking at scrims, these tend to be often fairly low scoring. So to be on the side of ZETA Division and within 53 seconds, see your flag already not just pulled, but already capped, really showed a fantastic opening coming in from Falcons. You know they had that early game strat ready. You saw a very slow start from ZETA, really just kind of trying to 3P their corners, playing a slow strat through tunnel and through cave side. Instead, Falcons triple stacks mid, and they send 1 player on the flag run. It just works out perfectly. And really from there, even though we saw a momentary stalemate, they never looked back thereafter.
It's very kind of, I would say, typical of what we've seen from Falcons a lot in their CTF gameplay. They like to get numbers and flood one side, right? Knowing that 3 guns is always better than 1 or 2. If they can isolate one side of the map and open up one of those lanes, they're not going to hold the angle. They're going to flood it. Like I say, play that death ball kind of play style where they all fly through to get those limbs, and then if you get the flag moving back and you keep a couple of players alive, like we saw from Tayson a few times there, the flag run is going to have that support. The player in front of him or supporting him on that flag run is always going to be able to do damage, and then it's just about holding the hand on the way back and getting that flag home.
It really is. We saw some also just late game, really nice composure. You saw, especially on what was the 3rd flag, you saw from Tayson just really nice kind of 1v2s that he's pulling off, and it's of course not easy to do when you're talking about the kill times that you see in this mode, in zero build, just to be able to isolate the way that they do. And I think we saw moments of good teamwork coming in from ZETA there. I think not only the flag cap, but there were times where they should have really gotten pulls as well thereafter. But in the end, just shows the Falcons' experience, not just here in these game modes, but also in all of zero build as well as FNCS. It just pays off at the end.
Yeah, 100%, and I think you're quite right. It's experience, right? When you're looking at the way that Falcons are running those flags, in comparison to the good moments the ZETA Division had there, it felt like ZETA Division would get eliminations and start stacking up, but they never felt like they were designed in a way that was going to clear a path for the flag to start running. It was like, okay, we've got this, now what? Their kind of secondary thought was not quite in the same kind of progress when it came to moving that flag and getting it on the way home in comparison to the Falcons. Falcons look like they had plan A, which is obviously play for one side, get those eliminations, clear a lane, and then we play off the back of that. And it's very difficult to play against that when you've got a team that's so in sync.
It really is. And one thing that's interesting, too, is we didn't see a ton of utility usage there from really either side. We saw very limited use of bubbles, which I think we're going to keep an eye on throughout the entire weekend, and also just all utility uses from Falcons as well. Sounds like we're getting ready to get into game number 2 in just a moment. We'll go to a quick break, and we'll be right back with more EWC featuring Fortnite.
Ready, set, go.
Honor 200 series, the best portrait phone AI empowered. Studio level, AI portrait camera, 3 hardcore portrait modes. Color, vibrant and classic to capture portraits that truly stand out. AI empowered magic portal. Snapdragon 8S Gen 3 AI chipset. 5,200 milliampere per hours silicon carbon battery, 100 watt, Honor Supercharge. This is Honor 200 series.
World Cup featuring Fortnite, and the gentlemen on your screen are going to be feeling very good about what we just saw in that map number 1. Falcons versus ZETA Division is the match we have on our main stage right now, and after a Chalet CTF win of 4-1, you can probably understand why the vibes are probably pretty good.
Yeah, undoubtedly, especially what we just saw from the entire squad. I mean, across the board, just a dominant performance, the one you expect, not only coming off of their dominant run at DreamHack Dallas, but also just the pedigree of these players on your screen, especially led by that MVP. 5 times FNCS winner, and also first place at FNCS 2023 Europe. Tayson, the man who was holding it down with some pivotal battles to make that game easy for his squad as they pull it out. And also you saw Yapko starting to pop off as well with the marksman role, and I think we're going to be keeping a very close eye. It doesn't feel like, in terms of specific role and utility, that Falcons was challenged in that game. I think we saw one example where Chicho felt like he needed a pre-bubble on the kind of the battle with the flag as he was pushing in, trying to just like trap cave side. I think they're going to be tested in a lot more ways throughout the rest of their matches, not only in groups but throughout the bracket. We'll have to see if ZETA can bounce back. As that first match indicated, it will not be an easy series for them.
Well, as we get ready to get into map number 2, it's only right that we hear from a team who maybe are thinking about how they get back into this series a little bit. We caught up with Mini Piero just before this map got underway.
joined by Mini PO from ZETA Division, kind of preparing before he goes into his first big match. It's the opening match of the tournament, and it's against none other than the DreamHack Dallas winners, Falcons. So, Mini PO, I want to say, first of all, your qualifier was incredible. You stomped, you 3-0'd basically everyone to be here at this competition. But like we've just said, you're up against the DreamHack Dallas winners. How's your confidence? Is it slightly rocked, or how are you feeling?
で予選大会はすごくうまくいきましたけれども、全チーム全相手をほとんど 3-0 で勝利できましたけれども、今回初戦の相手はドリームハックの、優勝したファルコンスなんですけれども、このような強いチームと戦うのは自信がありますか？勝てると思いますか？それともちょっとなんか緊張してますか？
はい、ドリームハック1位で最強なのは正気の上なんですけど、いや緊張もあるし、勝てるかなっていうところもあるんですけど、精一杯の力出して勝っていきたいと思います。
So obviously, like Falcons are extremely good team. They won the DreamHack venture. We saw that. So there is a little bit of nervousness in us. Not gonna lie, but we're confident. We will do whatever we can. We want to win. We know we can win, and we'll just basically give our all on stage.
We think it's going to be an amazing opening match. Now, since you qualified, Keeper has been added into the roster of game modes that you're going to be playing. Has that been your main focus coming into this tournament because it's such a new game mode?
予選大会を突破してからキーパーという新しいゲームモードを追加されたんですけれども、この新しいモードを予選勝ってから焦点しました。フォーカスしましたか？
キーパーもそうですけど、他のやつももっと昔より強くなれるように練習したのもあるし、新しいゲームモードキーパーは結構難しいところもあるんですけど、それをしっかり練習して勝てるようにしてきました。
So yeah, we practiced a lot the new game mode, obviously, but we also didn't neglect the other modes. We practiced everything. However, I have to say, Keeper is a pretty difficult game mode in our opinion. So we practice it a lot just to get as good as possible, as strong as possible in this, but also in other game modes.
First game is going to be a big test as well. So is there anything that you would like to say to Falcons ahead of your first game?
初戦は結構難しい試合だと思うんですけれども、相手のファルコンスをメッセージ一言お願いします。
強いけど倒します。
You guys are strong, but we're gonna beat you.
Oh, I like that fighting talk. Well, best of luck, Mini PO. Thank you so much for joining us in the pre-match interview, and best of luck in your matches. Back to you guys.
Best of luck, but we're going to beat you. We'll have to see if that comes true. They've got a lot of work to do here as they find themselves down 1-0 in the series. And now we get our first look at Hardpoint here at the Esports World Cup.
Yeah, Hardpoint, of course, going to be, once again, not surprisingly on Chalet. These players very comfortable on the old map here and very comfortable on Chalet itself, even opting for that in terms of the vetoes over your classic Hardpoint map in Panther. See who's out to get an early lead here. It's already Falcons with 31 on the board of the first batch.
This is uncontested at the start of this for Team Falcons. And we talk about these neutral hills, these neutral hard points being the ones where we usually see the game being decided when we get down to those final moments. And this P1 is being completely and utterly dominated here by Falcons. You can see all of ZETA at the moment just stuck in a respawn, having a flood as a 4, and Chicho's going to get so much information on where they're coming from.
4 stack here. Chicho just 3P in that and stays alive throughout the entirety of it. Already 55 seconds on the board here. ZETA trying to 4 stack. They cannot get into the hard point. It's a really great hold here early on coming in from Falcons. Finally, a few kills will go by the way of ZETA Division. However, still being held out. It's an early rotate coming in as well from Tayson and Teeny. They're going to hold on point 2 as well. This could be over absurdly fast.
This is getting a little bit out of hand. I mean, P1 is usually a hotly contested one, right? And now we're seeing Falcons not only with that, but also being in position to rotate for the next. Teeny inside of this hill for now. No shields, but still got that health to work with, playing behind the Jeep. And you can see the Coyote trying to use that bubble as an entry point for them. We'll step into the hard point to contest and slow that time down. And finally, some kills start going their way. But you've got to deal with Teeny, and they cannot deal with him. Finally, he will be taken out. It's actually Tayson who was being a little bit of a nuisance in the back of the base.
Yeah, Yapko was helping on the doorway as well. Eventually, Yapko's taken down. Look at Mini PO just taking 2 kills in the feed. Going to hold down. Nice work, though. Coming in from Tayson in the end, just rallies back to get that extra kill and keep things interesting here, but not before we have a 97-10 point lead for Team Falcons.
It looks like they have given this one up. They're rotating for that third hard point, so it's pretty dominant. It's pretty much the only way I could kind of phrase it. Coming in from Falcons at the start of this game, 100 points already on the board. Now is the difficulty for them, though. They have to break. They don't have spawns for this P3 as well, so it's going to be a continual battle and a continual flood through the front for Falcons.
Yeah, ZETA finally with the points on the board. Pre-bubble does come in for Chicho and Teeny. Very nice work coming in from Falcons. They make clinical SWAT team-esque work there. Pre-bubble to enter, and they do it perfectly, and now they are scoring it again.
And look at the speed at which they're trying to push out the lanes of the respawn as well. Even though ZETA Division are going to be spawning closest to this hardpoint, they can't even access it at the moment because Falcons are already pushed up on them, and now we're seeing the flood come in. The counter flood is here from Falcons. Yuma trying to do what he can. He's going to find two in the feed. Chicho trying to be a nuisance, and he will be that nuisance. He gets the final kill, and that'll be more time for Falcons.
That's a clean wipe. That's 4 dead. A little bit staggered, but really good timing here on the side of Falcons in terms of getting the kills the way they did. ZETA all in that push once again. That's not the first time we've seen it. They are not trying to take their lanes and slow down. They are just force stacking their pushes. So far, it has not paid off for them. A 100-point lead still for Falcons on the board.
So ZETA Division with the spawns for that hill still weren't able to get the majority of that time. Now we move to one of those neutral hills, and ZETA Division will be rotating first for it. Now my question is, what can you make of this? They have full setup and presence on the map. All they have to focus on is the choke points. Can you get these limbs onto the Falcons players?
Let's see what Tini could do. Just trying to take an angle. Nice 2 kills coming for ZETA, though. Yapko answers back by walking in, uninvited, gets another one as well in the feed. Picks up 2, and this should be Falcons have more time on the board if they can get these last 2 kills on the car.
I mean, sometimes you think you've done everything right, and it's just a bit of individual brilliance from Yapko that just blows things apart. Yapko's still alive and still causing problems for the side of ZETA Division. Mini Pyro manages to get in, though, and that will be a little bit of time at least going over to ZETA Division. However, pressure coming in from the front, that will be eliminated, and now you're going to see Yuma having to face up against 2 Falcon players coming off the respawn. Player in the window as well, which you spotted out for a little bit of chip damage, but not too much. Nothing you're going to worry about.
Got to be mentioned here, Falcons. Their lead slipping away just a little bit. There's been a nice 30-point rally coming in. 142 to 82, so ZETA Division not going down without a fight.
They have moved to that P5 as well, which is why you see Falcons get a little bit more time on the board. They will have the spawns a little bit closer to this P5 as well, and Tini inside of that hill is just locking down this lane. And if you're playing a marksman right now and you're Tini and you're looking across the map and you know that you've only got lanes in front of you, you're going to be feeling pretty good about picking up some elims.
Kills coming in once again. 2 kills coming in for Tayson and Tini. Zagu will answer back with 1, however. Not going to be easy, going to be pinched here undoubtedly by Chicho and Yapko. It's very, very nice work from them. Once again, just tag teaming there. The bubble will expire, though. It opens a door for Yuma to come in and get 2. Very, very nice timing on this push. This will be time for ZETA.
Yeah, really, really important there. Initially, the bubble work was fantastic coming in from the Falcon side, right? Using the in and out, the shifting of the body around the edges of the bubble to make sure that they weren't taking damage and got those elims, but it was the push through the middle and the clutch moment to clean up both players that gave them the opportunity to break. But has the break come too late as Falcons now move back to P1, and this was almost a perfect hill. This was a perfect hill,
I was going to say, they're going to be very, very comfortable here. We already saw them go by a significant lead, and you have to think with this much time on the clock, they could just get just shy of closing out the game on this hard point alone.
Tayson will go down, though. Zagu now trying to flood through that bubble. That's going to be another elim. So ZETA Division do actually manage to get 3 elims in a row here and clean out the hard point. Now they will have the information, you would imagine, with a little bit of scouting and a few angles being held of where the push is coming in from Falcons. If they can avoid the utility off the respawn, there's an opportunity for ZETA to maybe put a bit of pressure onto Falcons here.
Toyota with a very, very nice kill. Picks up another one as well. Yuma teams up. That should be 3 dead. We'll see where the 4th player is pushing in. Now it's going to be Chicho and Tini trying to make something happen. That's going to be a very, very nice swing of points. And just like that, less than a 70-point game here.
This is a really, really good hold coming in, but Falcons off the respawn trying to flood through. Yuma has to play his life and is managing to do so. Tayson's going to try and push out these kills while Tini just sits inside of that hill. We have rotated around to that second hill once more now, so Falcons will have the spawns for this one. Falcons sat inside and around the hill, but in and around the pool, which is mid-map, you can still see Falcons have presence, and they're just not letting ZETA Division even get up the map at the moment.
Yeah, look at Yapko and Chicho don't even have action to fight, like you said. Such good mid-map control coming in from the side of Falcons that they're going to pick up more kills in the feed as well. Tini going to just flank around the back of the base and try to continue holding this down. 224 on the board for Falcons. Now a 100-point lead once again.
Getting close to closing this one out as well. Zagu flies in once more, and you got to say 16 elims for Zagu. He's been a player who certainly hasn't disappointed here for ZETA Division. He's trying to do all that he can. Bubble again, the Dynamite's going to go down, but not connect with Yapko as he's got a bubble of his own, and now he's got some support coming in from his teammates. Chicho will pick up 2, but Yapko being the driving force of that push.
Worth noting here, 10 points until we move to the new point. So they will not close it out here, but they are getting dangerously close to finishing this round out. 238 on the board, and now moving to our next hard point.
ZETA Division have spawns for this one. Falcons trying to push up. Yapko trying to clean up the damage onto Coyote will do so. So now Mini Pyro is going to have to stay alive in and around that hard point. But Yapko just deleted him from inside of that hill, and with only a few points required, the question is, do they have the time now as the bubble goes down to just hold off this push and close this out?
That will be it. Look at the bubble timing as well. That one really should close it out. It's a Hail Mary effort coming in last second.
Hail Mary might not be good enough. Yabko is taken out, and oh, Hail Mary might be good enough. Tayson now is the only player they really have to deal with here, and with Yuma picking up too, and Kyoto working with him, Chicho has to clean up some damage, but I mean, it's last-second desperation plays here as they only need 1 point, Team Falcons, but ZETA Division don't want to let this one go.
They don't want to let it go, and now here comes the push. It should be Yapko jumping in. Yapko able to jump in last second, as you did see ZETA step out, and that will be game number 2 once again going to Falcons. And we got to say, same thing across their side of the stage. You would not have guessed, if you were only watching that camera angle alone, that they had just closed out a game that convincing.
Yeah, very, very impressive stuff. Overall, you would say from Falcons, but ZETA just felt like they were growing into that towards the end. That P1 hill was a real deciding factor though, right? You cannot afford to have a P1 hill, which is one of the neutral ones in and around the mid-map, go so heavily to one side. You're just kind of playing catch-up, especially with the second one going towards the Falcons swords as well.
Absolutely. I mean, if you look at the 2 advantages that they got, it was about a 50-plus point advantage off of the first center hill at number 1. The second time it went there as well, we saw another 50-point advantage, and that's really how we got to the 100-point advantage. It was actually all really won and lost on the central hill holds on the first hardpoint. Falcons clearly knowing exactly which chokes they needed to do, and you got to say, ZETA Division just not timing their pushes together. They needed to break those earlier, and they lost by quite a deficit because they just found themselves getting picked apart by Falcons. We'll take a look at some highlights from that game.
I mean, Zagi had some really good moments in that game, and so did Yuma on the side of ZETA Division. Certainly some good limbs being picked up, but a lot of the time something that stood out to me was not so much the holds, because the holds, when you look at Hardpoint as a game mode, it's kind of the easiest thing to lock down as a team. You watch here, these are our chokes, this is where the push is going to come from, right? It's more the breaks. We always talk about the breaks and how the best teams in the world when it comes to these type of game modes across numerous different esports titles will wait for each other and make sure that when they push, they're pushing in a situation where they have every single player on their team alive on the map. Sometimes you have to do nothing before you can try and do something.
It really is the case, and we saw each time Falcons with their holds, especially as we talked about on that first hardpoint hold. Once we've got to be said though, ZETA Division with some really nice tunnel holds here on that hard point at number 4, and essentially just keeping the game respectable, but it felt like it was maybe a little bit too little too late as they let the game slip away.
Yeah, it certainly was. Indeed, Yapko had some really big moments in and around mid-map, and one thing I love about the way that Yapko is playing this game mode at the moment is he takes space, right? He takes space away from the hard point. He takes space towards where the players are going to be pushing up the map. And if you're ZETA Division, maybe it catches you off guard a little bit. You've got all your focus on where we need to go to break this hard point. And before you know it, you're taking damage in and around mid-map from someone. That just slows your push down even more. That was a beautiful shot, by the way, coming in from Zagu.
I mean, yeah, absolutely. When you have a player like Yapko just doing exactly what he wants on the map, finally in that exchange, you saw him get taken down. But as you heard earlier in the pregame, kind of your defending champion, the winner of Gamers 8-0 build last year, and just coming in here and just putting on a show. It's not surprising to see a 2-0 lead here coming in for Falcons. Smiles on their side of the stage as well as we get ready for map number 3.
Now we get to play a little bit of Keeper, and this is a game mode which is going to test our teams and players most, we feel. This is the most recently introduced game type that we do have, the most recently introduced map as well, and I would say when you're looking at the nuances of 4v4 game modes, a game mode like Keeper tests so many facets of a team's teamwork in comparison to even the likes of a Hardpoint and a CTF.
And their mentals, right? Keep in mind, because this is the new game mode, we've seen them, we've seen in the Discord, right? There's been new updates to this game mode. We've been talking with players. Spawns have been changing a bit. Strategies have been changing a bit. Going to be keeping a very close eye on. Our team's looking for the cliff side. You see the right side of the map there, or the far side on your screen right now. Are they going to be holding cliffside, or are they going to be holding internally, closer to basement holds? We've seen teams doing kind of each of these yet, and because this is so new, we're going to see a lot of this figured out on the spot this weekend over the 4 days of competition of how these teams want to play these games.
Yeah, we're also going to see if anyone's got a couple of strategies that they've just held back for tournament
Close
play.
to the chest.
Yeah, maybe we won't see them today. But if they get to Saturday or Sunday, maybe that's where they'll go, oh, by the way, we can do this here. So we'll have to see if we're going to see some tricks coming out of these teams a little bit later on in the tournament. But when we talk about this game, when we talk about this series, it's ZETA Division who are the ones under pressure at the moment. Falcons up 2-0 as we do see that key down mid-map.
They get a spawn here, of course, on the closed side of the map. Respawn here rather than that central point. Tayson will, unsurprisingly, get the first one. It's very good sight line and kind of choke usage coming in from the side of Falcons. Yuma will break, though, so here comes the push.
Mason now playing in and around the basement. Going to be rotating towards his teammates, but a little bit of damage is going to be done. And you have to say, one thing that's very, very intricate when it comes to this game type is even when you find yourself down a few numbers, the mobility you have in this game mode, even holding that key, you can milk a couple of extra points before you get taken down. But ZETA Division do manage to get the break, and now ZAGU, he's got the key in hand.
Yeah, right now Falcons able to get 17 early ones on the board. They go for that early basement hold, which we'll talk about later after this action calms down, because Teeny and Yapko and Tayson work together for 3 dead. They steal the key right back. For those of you who are new, maybe didn't catch the intro, Keeper here, a brand new game mode to EWC featuring Fortnite. Very similar to Oddball from Halo, really a game of keep away. You want to hold this key. As you do, you're going to rack up time. And look at this hold here from Tayson. By the way, this is a very dangerous spot to hold, because if you die, you can really just kind of play it. It'll go down right at the out of environment boundary, and you can then defend that area pretty easily. Good shots once again from Tayson from distance as well. They will continue holding.
And not only is it difficult to push, look at the head glitch you're playing on if you're Tayson right now, right? You know where that key player is, you know where he's located, but the problem is you've got such a small target to deal with. And I love that Tayson, even with the key in his hand, is essentially flanking behind the push that's been organized by ZETA Division and just chipping away at shields. And if you've got someone who's holding an objective doing that, you know they're doing their work.
Yeah, they really are. Tayson started to rotate just a little bit towards the middle of the map, and then in the end, he's forced all the way back. He will get taken down as well. You will see a few players on Falcons fall. It's going to be Teeny that goes down. However, kills exchange for both sides, because Chicho picks up 2 and will pick up the key as well. Already 3 kills on the board, and once again, we'll continue holding. Great work with Tayson there for that 2v1, and this is, as soon as I saw this map when I was testing this game type, Mark, this is such an obnoxious spot to hold. Chicho gets punished for checking that angle, but really with those windows and that cliffside, that is where you're going to see a lot of teams looking to hold that key.
Very, very impressive run that from Chicho. You see Tayson now going to pick up that key, and this is the rotate coming in. However, before he does manage to move that key back towards the rest of his respawning teammates, ZETA Division do get the kills, but there's something to kind of just dissect a little bit here. When ZETA have had that key in their hand, they've not been able to establish any kind of dominant setup at the moment. It's been scrappy time. Although now finally they do get some kills, this is their opportunity to show us something different.
Awkward transitional hold, though. You could tell ZAGU was just there for the bubble and then knew he needed to get out of dodge. They're kind of right around center map here, as you see. They're really probably going to try to get either back outside. Yeah, not surprising to see ZAGU go back to Cliff here, because you really don't want to be holding towards that center part of the map. Finally, he takes a really nice creative route, and he's just going to hold Cliff side to see if they can get some time on the board right now. And they're right back in this game. It was 81-10 or so. And right now it's 81-51. The game is back within 30.
I was about to say, though, unfortunately for him, he knew the pressure was coming on. You can see he was trying to get the key into a position where it'd be difficult to pick up. Maybe the player just slides off and finds himself in a little bit of trouble. And the key stays active, but it's going to be a clean break thanks to the kills picked up by the man on your screen. 7 limbs to his name at the moment here, Tayson, as Falcons put themselves onto 96, 98 points. So they might be threatening to cross into the 3 figures. But as I say that, the break will come in momentarily, but the cleanup crew is here as Teeny now will look to put down more damage mid-map.
Tayson almost 1v2s on that doorway. You saw it there the last second. He almost picked up another one. He turns on him as well. Turns on Yuma around the corner. That's not going to feel good. Yapko picks up another one and another. Working together as 2 in the feed for him. Coyote eventually will finish him and will get the key, but you're starting to see some of the madness the Keeper brings, even when it looks like the kills on the feed are scoring up the right way. Rotate here coming in from Coyote, so instead of holding here on the cliffside, they're actually going to start to rally back, but they needed to know the pressure was coming. ZETA tried to pinch in the end, and Chicho just left alone, going to have to wait and try to bubble out of this fight. He's taken down as well, so as that key rotates back in, I wouldn't be surprised once again, ZAGU to just hold this maybe in the tower, avoid going back up towards the staircase, kind of on the spawn, because it's going to be a really difficult hold. I wouldn't be surprised if he stays towards the tower on the outside, but instead going to rotate right towards Falcons.
Looks like he got the call out. Maybe that player was a little bit weaker than expected, because, like you say, not sure about that one. That's a little bit of an overchow. Didn't really need to make that play. Could have waited for Falcons to push towards him, and now Teeny is trying to do exactly that. But look at the flood coming in here from Zia, by the way. Chicho's going to find one on the side of Falcons, but the rest of the kill feed belongs to ZETA Division until Tayson steps in once more. He just seems to be in the right place at the right time. 14 limbs to his name.
Tayson picks up 2, Chicho in the feed as well. Yeah, this key is in a really obnoxious spot. I'm kind of surprised that we're seeing it stay here this long, and ZETA's trying to get it out of here as well. Really, this was, I think, just a start of a rotate that came up the stairs when you're leaving the cliffside going back towards that spawn. A little bit of accidental damage coming in here. We'll see if that can get cleaned up. Just obnoxious on the tree stump. You love what you see there, and in the end, we'll go back, and it's going to be 130-95.
That in 95 as we close out here, round number 1, and we're going to reset the sides here. So we're going to have a little bit of flip of the spawns before we get into round number 2. Excuse me, but Falcons very strong start, and I think a lot of it was based around that one setup they had that felt that it was a 70-80 point run in and around that rock formation you were talking about.
Yeah, if we're looking at the mini-map, just for anyone who's looked at a lot of the Keeper mini-map here at Taverna, really you're thinking about that top right cliffside, which is where a lot of Team Falcons' time came from. Now, in the end, I think it's important to talk about how that key stayed, if you will, on the bottom right cliffside, just because it felt like a play of the key to just put it into a very dangerous area from Tayson. You saw him pick up the kills, and they moved it there. I was surprised to see ZETA not try to get... They're going for the tower hold again. I'm surprised to see them opting for this, because if you do lose it, it's just a little bit of carnage here. We'll see if they can hold here.
Yeah, it's almost like you're gifting the setup over to the other side, right? But, like you say, if you put yourself in a power position, like Zagu finds himself right now, that you can bait things out and you can do damage, but unfortunately for him, not too many misplays on his side. It was just Falcons eliminated the rest of ZETA before they made that play. So now you can see Tierney, he's going to have to deal with it. ZETA going to go back for that key. They'll find 2 kills in the feed as well, which is going to give them a little bit of space to play with. But here's Tayson, and you know you've got to take him down, and the 2v1 will certainly do so. A much better start here from ZETA Division.
Let's see what ZETA holds here, because once again, they're kind of in this courtyard area. They're still right here by the red spawn. If they still hold tower, I think there's a lot, like they really want to hold this. You could tell this is something they've been working on. So far, it has given them a good lead in this game, 53-0. We'll see if they can continue holding.
Big fight mid-map here, and it's going to be Yapko who wins it. 20 limbs to his name, and he's going to grab a little bit of objective time as well by collecting that key. Falcons are going to find 2, and oh my! Yapko having a little bit of fun out here.
See if they make the push here. They could just decide to push Minikoya up the stairs. Yapko finally does get taken down as 2 kills go into the feed for ZETA. See if they can continue holding here, maybe even a rotate of the key. Finally, the key will now sit down in this courtyard. 4 stacked is ZETA Division, as they need to be careful. Kills exchange 1 apiece.
Hey, that's a bit of communication that you'll pick up after a few games, and certainly after a situation like that. It's quite simple. I've got key. Everybody else push it out. So we see the bubble go down here as Chicho is going to be a little bit of a problem, as is Yapko in the kill feed. So looking at the score at the moment, you have to say that ZETA Division had the best of the start here, and this tower hold was good for them. Now it's time for Falcons to see if they can do something similar in response.
You can tell both teams prepared for this hold. Tayson actually very nicely just dodges the grenades that are coming in, drops a courtyard to help out with these battles, and as a result, they get 2 dead very cleanly, and Tayson will rotate. I was going to ask, Mark, I was really surprised. I did not think we were going to see Falcons continue with that tower hold. It just doesn't look on paper or in scrim results like it's the strongest on the map, and I'm not surprised to see a rotate right away coming in from the side of Falcons. One, to not be holding tower, but secondly, to pull the tower hold away from ZETA, who seems comfortable.
Yeah, seem extremely comfortable as we head up to what we've described as Hagrid's Hut. Yep, I say we. It was all you. I'm going to give you all of the credit for that.
It does look like Hagrid's Hut.
It does, 100%. Yuma now. Trying to challenge Chicho. He's going to be popping up in this window in just a few moments' time. A little bit of chip damage, and now he's trying to 3P and see if the re-peek is going to come in. Of course it did, as Falcons will find 2. Looking at the score, though, ZETA Division still with that lead, although Falcons have the key away.
Yep. First round, of course, went to Falcons, playing best of 3 rounds here. We haven't mentioned that yet. Zagu will fall on the feet. Chicho with 2 to his name. Minikoya trying to answer back and try to get to the front of Hagrid's Hut, but not always the easiest thing to do. Going to now flank around, wait for help.
It's going to be a strong hold coming in here from Tayson and the rest of Falcons as well. You can see just putting it in a position where there's only a couple of lanes that ZETA Division can push from, and now they're going to try and double this push onto Kyoto through this bubble. However, Kyoto gets the kill, and now you're going to see him get 2. He's out of there. He's got the key. He's done the work. He's saying, everybody else, you know your jobs.
Yapko answers back, though, with a double of his own. We'll see if he can pick up another one. Kyoto just going to try to rotate around. Does not get around the corner last second. That means Chicho will continue scoring yet again. And now, look at this. Within 10 points this game. It's been a much tighter round number 2, Mark.
It certainly has, and it seems like ZETA Division, although the tower hold was good for them early on, this scrap time is really kind of putting pressure onto Falcons because they're picking that key up. They're kind of running into 2v1 scenarios, trying to isolate a couple of players. And that's exactly what we're seeing right now. 2 players fly through once more. Human will get an elimination. Mini Puro now on your screen, trying to hold down a few angles. The ZETA Division will tie things up here. It's 102 to 102.
Let's not forget, we're with 48 seconds left. This is their series life on the line here. They need to win this round to stay alive, and they will need to win everything thereafter as well. And it's a minor lead here. We'll see if they can hold 39 seconds on the clock.
Key is still in their hand as well. That score is only going one way now for ZETA Division. Keep your eyes on that kill feed, though. See where the limbs are starting to pop in. Teeny will find one. Kyoto will answer back. Yapko there as well, and if Falcons can get these eliminations and get away, then maybe there's a chance. Yapko was trying to sneak away with that key in his hand, but wasn't able to do so, and now you're going to see ZETA Division surely close things out here with this key in their hands. The rotate's going to come in, even with Tayson getting 2. It's going to be mathematically impossible for Falcons to get back into this round. We are going to be tied up going into a deciding round number 3.
Wow, and finally some signs of life here coming in from ZETA in a big way, and a little bit of relief on their side. As you can tell, they will stay alive not just in this game, but in this series, and they answer back. They send Keeper to a round number 3. What a difference between those 2 rounds, Mark.
Yeah, it was a fascinating start to the round, right? It was the tower hold that you were so kind of focused on, understandably so, because it felt like that was plan A coming in for ZETA Division. And Falcons, even though they could see exactly what was happening in front of them, they just couldn't really formulate a way to break it initially. And then I almost feel like Falcons made a bit of a mistake by playing into the hands of ZETA Division by trying to perform that hold themselves, but they just didn't look quite as rehearsed.
2 kills go down for ZETA right away, however, answered back by Teeny, going to keep things close to make sure it's not too much time on the board yet. However, the 2 kills do allow for a ZETA Division early pull of the key.
Something to keep in note as well. Remember how new this game type is as well. Maybe it's the reps that Falcons don't have in comparison to ZETA Division. Zagu's out of there with that key, by the way, and it's going to be early time on the board once again from ZETA Division. Remember, they were 1 round to 0 down in this game. They tied it up 1-1, and they've got a little bit of time on the board here. Falcons, for the first time in the series, feel a little bit under pressure here.
Yeah, Tayson going to pull, probably go back to the staircase spawn if he can. Yes, indeed. He's going to rotate right all the way back, just get away, and really it's an art to be able to rotate the key away. Gets good damage on Yuma. In the end, though, will be 2v1. He's taken down. 26 points on the board early for ZETA.
I see your bubble. I meet you with an EMP. That gets rid of that very quickly. Yuma going to be challenging on Yapko as well, and that's going to be 2 coming in for him. A big play around mid-map is going to create space for that key carrier to rack up a little bit more time. ZETA Division, 41 points and rising for them at the moment, and this has been another strong start like we saw in that second round.
I like this rotate. Look, they're going to come right up the stairs here, still hanging around red spawn. They're just stacking together. They pick up 2 more as well. Yapko picks up 1 to make it a 3v3 momentarily on the map.
As long as they can avoid the utility from the respawners here, this death ball, this stack coming in from ZETA Division is working well enough. Here comes Tayson. He's going to find 2, maybe even 3.
Yep.
Finally. It looks like kills will be exchanged elsewhere, but he's got the key in his hand, and that was job done now for Falcons. They've got the break, and it's thanks to the man on his screen.
Yeah, Tayson picks up 3. Chicho picks up another 1 as well. They pick up more, essentially 5 or 6 kills in a row as Teeny and Tayson will combine for another 3 kills. And this was the rally back that Falcons fans were hoping to see. Let's not forget, ZETA's still doubling the score of Falcons, but Falcons now showing really clean dominance. That's about 10 out of the last 12 kills in a row. They will now have a really solid basement hold. We'll see if they can tie up the game here.
Yeah, it almost felt like that was 3 squad wipes consecutively going in the favor of Falcons, and that's why you're seeing the score flip on its head. It is getting closer and closer as the seconds tick past. The key's going to be down in the basement. You're going to see Falcons pick up a couple of kills, and that's going to allow Teeny to get this key back into their possession. We are going to see a tie game in just a few moments. Falcons have found a way back into this.
This is the second time in the game across the rounds we've seen Falcons with a basement hold. Not surprised to see it. We already know this is the favorite hold of XSET, one of the tournament favorites, so really rallying back. They have gone back into the lead here. Falcons at 66-62 off of the basement hold.
Plenty of time left in this round, and we've seen, I think, efficiency start to take over both teams at the moment. When they've got the preferred setup, it seems like that has totaled into a 40, 50-point run as Yapko starts doing things that only Yapko can do.
Picks up another one there. Beautiful 3P, just hits the shot, makes it look very easy. Finally, Teeny will be taken down. Coyote wants to answer back, but got to be tough for ZETA Division after being up by about 60-20 there. They find their lead completely removed as Falcons are now up by 10, but ZETA scoring yet again.
Couple of trades coming across the board when it comes to eliminations, and it seems like the key will be down for a few seconds as ZETA will be placed upon their respawn, which allows Chicho now to move in and collect that key, and a little bit more time here for Falcons. They will cross the 90-point mark here in ZETA Division. You mentioned series life on the line here. They're looking down the barrel of a 3-0 if they can't break this hold from Falcons.
Oh, 3 dead. Tayson and Yapko combining for 3 straight kills. Not going to be good. Zagu also taken down 4 straight kills. Falcons now going to rack up even more time with the key. And if, once again, the basement hold prevails, they go right back home.
They've shown that they get 1 team wipe. It's more than likely they're going to get 2 or 3 based off of the plays that they have and the spawn knowledge that they can execute as well. Chicho now just gathering more and more time with this key in his hands as Falcon moves second after second, point after point, closer and closer to closing out this game and this series. Chicho, no pressure, which is usually a good indication your teammates are doing good work.
Yeah, it really is. Once again, going to hold here. Pre-bubble comes in for Coyote, but Chicho gets very good damage on it. Going to allow Tayson to immediately clean up. Yapko picks up another one in the feed as well, 141-78.
Yeah, we're now moving into the realms of mathematical impossibility once more, and it looks like Falcons, even though they bled a little bit in that second round of Keeper, they will be able to close things out now with a 2-1 win to close out the series at 3-0. Hey, the predictions were right. Apart from
absolutely were.
1% of you. Got to call it out. Got to call it out.
And we even got some smiles there on the face of the side of Falcons as they will handily take that game of keeper in the end. Headsets will slowly come off and they can realize that the job is done in that first series. I've got to say, big shout out though to ZETA Division, even though they certainly came in as the underdog, putting up a fight in that last game of keeper and maybe just sending a message across to the competition that, hey, we've done the work, we can hang with the best, and we'll be ready for the rest of our matches in group stage.
I think it also sends a little bit of a message to everybody who's watching at home as well. When we get to that map number 3, which is going to be keeper in all of the best of 5s today, you get a chance. It's so fresh, it's so new that even the best teams in the world are still working